Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Georgette Gomez, Council President of the City of San Diego and representative of the 9th Council District. Welcome to the historic Balboa Theatre. I call this meeting of the San Diego City Council to order. As a reminder, please turn off your cell phones and other electronic devices. Thank you very much. Tonight, we look forward to the 2020 State of the City address by our mayor, the Honorable Kevin L. Faulconer. Joining me this evening are my esteemed colleagues who represent you on the San Diego City Council. From District 1, the Honorable Barbara Bree. From District 2, the Honorable Jennifer Campbell. From District 3, the Honorable Chris Ward. From District 4, the Honorable Monica Montgomery. From District 5, the Honorable Mark Kersey. From District 6, the Honorable Chris Kate. From District 7, the Honorable Scott Sherman. From District 8, the Honorable Vivian Moreno. Also joining us this evening, our City Attorney, the Honorable Mara Elliott. Our City Clerk, Elizabeth Millen. Our Independent Budget Analyst, Andrea Teflon. And our Chief Operating Officer, Chris Michelle.
Good evening, San Diego. We are honored to have so many distinguished guests here tonight. While everyone here is a VIP, I would like to take a moment and join my City Council colleagues in introducing the elected officials and leaders of our public safety, military, and international communities. I ask you to please hold your applause until everyone has been recognized. From our San Diego Police Department, Chief of Police, David Nisleit. Okay. Executive Assistant Chief, Albert Guadarrama. Thank you. Assistant Chief, Sandra Albrechtson. Assistant Chief, Terrence Charlot. Assistant Chief, Paul Connolly. Assistant Chief, Keith Lucas. Assistant Chief, Chris McGrath. And Assistant Chief, Tom Underwood. From our San Diego Fire Rescue Team, Fire Chief Colin Stowell, Assistant Chief Kevin Esther, and Assistant Chief Christopher Weber, and Lifeguard Chief James Gartland. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Good evening. I would like to introduce from the County of San Diego the new chair of the County Board of Supervisors representing District 1, Greg Cox. District 4 Supervisor, Nathan Fletcher. Vice Chair and District 5 Supervisor, Jim Desmond. Sheriff of San Diego County, William Gore. County Treasurer, Tax Collector, and Clerk, Dan McAllister. Sorry about that, Ernie. I took County Assessor, Recorder, and Clerk, Ernest Dronenberg. From the state of California, State Senator Brian Jones, Assembly Members Todd Gloria, and Lorena Gonzalez. And I would like to thank the representatives of the Sequan Band of the Kumeyaay Nation, the Viejas Band of the of the Kumeyaay Indians, the Hamu Indian Village, and the Manzanita Band of the Kumeyaay Nation for being here tonight. Thank you.
Good evening. Joining us from the cities of the San Diego County, we welcome the Mayor of Coronado, Richard Bailey, the Mayor of El Cajon, Bill Wells, the Mayor of Encinitas, Catherine Blakespear, the Mayor of Lemon Grove, Raquel Vasquez, the Mayor of National City, Alejandro Sotelo Solis, the Mayor of Poway, Steve Vaus, the Mayor of San Marcos, Rebecca Jones, and Deputy Mayor of Del Mar, Terry Gasterlin.
Good evening. From the San Diego education community, Dr. Constance Carroll, Chancellor of the San Diego Community College District, Dr. Maria Nieto Sr., Board President, and Board members Craig Milgram, Mary Graham, and Sean Elo. From the San Diego Unified School District, Board Trustees, Dr. Sharon Whitehurst Payne and Michael McQuarrie. And from the San Diego County Board of Education, Mark Powell.
Good evening. We have several former elected officials with us here tonight as well. Former San Diego Mayor, Jerry Sanders. Former San Diego City Council members, Jim Mad Dog Madaffer and Byron Ware. Representatives from the following state and federal officials are here tonight as well. U.S. Senators Dianne Feinstein and Kamala Harris, Congresswoman Susan Davis, Congressman Mike Levin, Congressman Scott Peters, and Congressman Juan Vargas. Governor Gavin Newsom is represented here tonight, as well as State Senate Pro Tem Tony Atkins, Assembly Republican Leader Marie Waldron, and Assembly Member Brian Mainshine. Welcome.
Good evening. We are proud to welcome some of the leadership of our armed forces here tonight. From the United States Navy, Captain Mark Nizwidami, Captain Matt Ovios, and Executive Director Brian Scurry. From the United States Marine Corps, Colonel Charles B. Dockery, Commanding Officer at MCAS Miramar, Sergeant Major Jason Kane, MCAS Miramar, and Kristen Camper, Community Plans and Liaison Officer, MCAS Miramar. Thank you all for your service, and thank you to all the veterans here with us tonight.
Welcome. From the San Diego Consular Corps, Honorary Consul of Estonia, Michael Chan. The Honorary Consul General of Brazil, Alfredo de Escronole. The Honorary Consul of Chile, George Gildred. The Honorary Consul of Finland, Catherine Mautino. The Honorary Consul of Norway, Gordon Covington. And the Honorary Consul of Portugal, Ildamiro de Rosa. And the Honorary Consul of Sweden, Katarina King. And lastly, the United Kingdom Consul, David Paschini.
From our neighbors in Mexico, Mayor of Tijuana, Arturo González Cruz. Mayor of Rosarito, Araceli Brown. And representing the Mayor of Ensenada is Efraín Cantal, Director of International Affairs. We are also pleased to welcome my friend, Mexican Consul General Carlos González Gutiérrez. I would like to recognize the many business and civic leaders from Baja California that are attending today and thank them for their work in strengthening and promoting our San Diego Baja binational mega region. Gracias por su gran esfuerzo en promover nuestra región binacional San Diego-Tijuana.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. Please join us in giving all our dignitaries and elected officials a warm round of applause. please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the entrance of the color guards, reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance, and the singing of our national anthem. Pastor Miles McPherson from the Rock Church is with us this evening to deliver the invocation.
How you doing, San Diego? I want to thank the mayor for inviting me and the city council for inviting me. You know, when I was 8 years old, Martin Luther King was killed. And I remember at 8, I remember what I felt, that it wasn't fair, and I remember what I thought. What do we do now? I want to take a minute to acknowledge all the amazing, diverse leadership that we have in our city and congratulate them and honor them for standing for that answer. What we can do now? And I'm so encouraged at how we work together in San Diego. And if we continue to work together and synergize all the diverse talents that we all have, God is going to do an amazing thing in our city. Amen? Let's all bow for a prayer. Lord, I speak life over our mayor, his family, and his staff. Thank you for his commitment to the homeless population, providing housing for those who are currently struggling. You said in Matthew 25:40, assuredly I say to you, inasmuch as you did it to one of the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me. Thank you for his commitment to work with our wonderful brothers and sisters south of the border. Lord, I speak life and blessing over our city's leadership. May you grant them your peace and discernment in their decision-making. May you unite all our hearts that we may focus not on our differences, but on our similarities. Bring out the best we all have to offer. Lord, you have provided us a unique opportunity to be a model of the power of unity and diversity. As we all sit here today and reflect on our individual lives for a moment, I think we would all agree that not many years ago, we would not have thought to be in this place with the responsibility we have today. In addition to a lot of hard work, we would have said, in addition to a lot of hard work we all have had, someone would have said there was good luck involved. But Lord, we thank you for your hand in that good luck. It was for this reason, for this day, to be here to serve this city. Thank you for believing in us, and may your grace be upon us all. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor. This year, we are honored to have our own color guard from the San Diego Fire Rescue Department to present the colors. Color guard, present the colors. Thank you. Assistant Chief Sandra Albertson is the police department's highest ranking female officer and has been with the city of San Diego for more than 34 years. Assistant Chief Albertson is currently in charge of the Support Operations Division, and she will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now please welcome Dana Pamela Sala Sanchez from Lincoln High School, who will be singing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly for the land of the free, in the home of the brave.
Thank you. Color guards, please retire the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Hey guys, come on in.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
You give up your anonymity when you're mayor. There's really no such thing as just going to hang out and having a beer at the bar because the next guy turns to you and says, "Hey, you're the mayor." I'm like, "Yes, I am." When I look back at when I made the decision to run and when we had the opening in the mayor's office, the issue of integrity was front and center because of the problems that we had with the former mayor. Restoring integrity, restoring pride, restoring confidence and decision-making coming out of City Hall was important. That's where One San Diego was really born, which is we're going to involve this entire city, and we're going to work for the benefit of every neighborhood. I never feel like I have this mayor thing down, and every time that I think maybe just a little bit, something happens. It's a big organization with problems, with successes, and so it is, the minute you think you have everything under control, you don't. I particularly remember several years ago when we were experiencing an outbreak of hepatitis A, hit countywide, but particularly hit us very strongly in the urban portion of downtown San Diego, when it was very clear to me that there was no playbook for this, that we needed to have to take decisive action immediately, do things differently, get everybody mobilized to save lives. And it was very humbling. And it took everybody coming together and on board, but I was absolutely determined that we were going to stop it and really make a difference in people's lives. San Diego is doing things differently on homelessness. A sidewalk should not be a home. We've taken dramatic action to change that. A lot of things that I will never forget as mayor. One that I vividly remember was the morning that I had to walk into Officer Jonathan de Guzman's house after he had been killed the night before to meet with his family and to talk with Jane and his kids. And they were all talking, trying to get through as best they could the grief that they were feeling. When I walked in, the mayor was in their living room. It was tough. You walk in, you're not sure what to say. But it was important to me to be there, really to let them know that this city was behind him. I was behind him. Can't say enough about what these men and women do, and the families that stand and support behind them. Jonathan gave his life for our city, doing what he loved and protecting our neighborhoods. We are fortunate to have people like that. When I leave on the last day as mayor, that'll look back with pride, with bringing this city together, making reforms that have set the foundation for the years ahead, and doing it in a way that represented the best of our city. That's what One San Diego was all about. One of the things that I think surprises me the most is how much San Diegans are rooting for our city constantly. They want us to do good things. They want results. And they have a lot of pride in us. I feel excited about the year ahead. Not only because the team that we have, but really the passion which we're bringing to issues and are making a difference. I always tell my staff, we're only in these jobs for a finite amount of time. Every second counts. We have real momentum, real energy. I'm excited, San Diego. Let's do this. I vividly remember it. I remember standing on the hot concrete. The sun hits my eyes as I look up at the apartments next to me, thinking of the stories of everyone inside. There was one story in particular that I came to hear. And then I see him walking up to me. Someone most San Diegans will never know. It's someone I can't wait to meet. Smiling from ear to ear, wearing a crisp gray dress shirt, Brian approaches me with the confidence you'd expect from a Navy veteran. What I don't expect is what he tells me next. Thank you, he says. Thank you for cleaning up all the tents under the freeway. I've heard that from other San Diegans, but never from someone like Brian. Because the tents that Brian's talking about are where he used to live. It's where he did meth. It's where he bathed himself outdoors. It's where his jaw was shattered in a vicious assault. And it's where he finally began his journey to a permanent home. Drugs have always been a big part of my life, he tells me. They were a habit I couldn't break. Eventually, they became more important to Brian than keeping a roof over his head. Brian knew his life was in danger. Yet as time wore on, he convinced himself he was satisfied living on the streets because it meant he didn't have to confront his addiction. One day, an officer from the new neighborhood policing division approached him and offered him a shelter bed. At first, he hated the idea of going to one of our new bridge shelters. It took some convincing. And once there, case managers connected him to veterans benefits he didn't know he had and supported him until he was housed in a former motel that we transformed into apartments for homeless veterans. Today, Brian lives there. He's sober, and he's an example for others looking to do the same. As we stood outside his apartment, appreciating the garden that he planted, Brian tells me he would still be living underneath the freeway if he wasn't compelled to move to a shelter. He couldn't change the situation for himself. We had to help him make that change. Brian's story is our story. It's the story of every city struggling with homelessness. Brian is here with us tonight. And Brian, as you continue your recovery, I want you to know that you make San Diego proud. You've inspired me, and you inspire our city to keep going. A few years ago, Brian's story wouldn't have been possible. Most everyone turned a blind eye to homelessness. It was always someone else's problem to fix. Then the hepatitis A outbreak hit, and it became everyone's problem. Public health officials said they were doing everything by the book, but people were dying, and things weren't getting better. I knew we needed a change, so I took a good hard look in the mirror. Our whole region needed to do more on homelessness. I needed to do more. We had been taking the same failed approach as every other California city. An approach where everyone agrees we need to help homeless individuals, but when it comes to actually doing something, there was always an excuse standing in the way. When county doctors told us the outbreak had no end in sight, it was clear the time for excuses was over. This was the moment I vowed that as long as I'm mayor, we would do the right thing over the popular thing. We would stand tall even if we had to stand alone. We would begin a new normal, a massive adjustment in resources, responsibilities, and attitudes. We deployed nurses and paramedics to every riverbed, canyon, street corner, and we vaccinated more than 100,000 people. We started a robust campaign to educate the public. We began sanitizing our streets and sidewalks. I took all those homeless ideas that we were debating, threw away the excuses, and put the solutions into action. We opened 4 new bridge shelters. We expanded safe parking lots and storage centers. We launched the largest expansion of homeless services in our city's history. We changed virtually everything, and we have changed lives as a result. We are the only major county in California where homelessness went down last year instead of up. San Diego no longer accepts a sidewalk, a riverbed, or a tarp as a home. So it's troubling to see other cities now grappling with public health scares of their own. My mayoral colleagues across the state are seeing rare diseases make a comeback in homeless encampments. Different cities, different leadership, same crisis. This isn't just a coincidence. These are the clear consequences of a larger government failure. Unsanitary encampments in cities big and small. A deficient mental health system. Overwhelmed emergency rooms. Laws that embolden drug abuse. California has lost its way on homelessness, and it's up to us to find our moral compass once again. We have to be honest with ourselves about why so many people are living on the street. We have to speak the truth about what causes homelessness, no matter how uncomfortable it is. And we must have the courage to enact the solutions to fix it. I'll be blunt. Academic theories on solving homelessness are inadequate for the scope and scale of our state's crisis. Many so-called experts say that we should only focus on housing to solve homelessness. It's a fine idea, except for the fact that it can take years to build one home, let alone 151,000 for every homeless person in California. This housing-only ideology also ignores that tens of thousands of Californians aren't homeless just because they lost a home. They're homeless because they are losing their fight with mental illness or addiction. So until we get the statewide housing reforms we desperately need, we must find more solutions for the most challenging part of the homeless population. People suffering from a substance abuse problem, a mental health issue, or both. In San Diego, 50,000 emergency calls come in each year for people with schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or other crippling afflictions, diverting public safety resources away from crime and other emergencies. We cannot allow this to continue. We're talking about people who are someone's brother, sister, mother or father, son or daughter. They need help now. So I'm pleased to announce tonight that in partnership with the County of San Diego, we will deploy mental health teams to all of the city's bridge shelters, place people with severe addiction in residential care, and follow it up with a significant increase in county resources to make sure everyone who is struggling with addiction and mental illness is directly connected to housing and treatment. As I said earlier, we all need to do more on homelessness. So I'm also excited to announce a public-private partnership to open the county's first bridge shelter to support these mental health efforts. These actions will provide a powerful resource for emergency first responders, a reassurance for families afraid to walk certain streets, a beacon of hope for troubled souls, and proof that San Diego is acknowledging the reality of homelessness and ready to lead on mental health. For San Diego to keep turning the corner on homelessness, we also need to fix state laws. Laws that eliminated our ability to effectively respond to this crisis. Laws cities once relied on to encourage people to accept treatment or a shelter bed instead of a jail bed. A few years ago, Proposition 47, advertised as, quote, the Safe Neighborhoods and Schools Act, turned cocaine, heroin, and meth into a slap on the wrist. And then Prop 57, labeled the, quote, Public Safety and Rehabilitation Act, doubled down on this irresponsible approach. If you think someone who is addicted to drugs and sleeping in a canyon is going to turn their life around without an intervention, you're not being honest. These laws are letting people slowly kill themselves right in front of our eyes. These are cries for help. And folks are not going to change without consequences for their actions. And some of the ideas behind these laws were well-intentioned, but the voters were misled. They were sold a bill of goods under the guise of criminal justice reform. This failed experiment needs to end. And that's why I will be working in 2020 and beyond to make sure our state's laws actually fulfill their intended purpose, to rehabilitate lives and keep our neighborhoods safe. It's what voters were promised, and it's what voters deserve. It's an election year, so we'll be hearing a lot about these issues. My name won't be on the ballot, so I can say whatever I want. And what I'm talking about tonight is obvious to almost anyone walking our streets, but considered politically incorrect by many insiders. These are ideas that most people in power actually believe in, but are afraid to say, let alone do. Drug laws that hurt people, tragic mental illness, public health scares, a historic housing shortage. They all must be addressed to solve the homeless crisis. They all affect cities like San Diego, and they are all consequences of a larger government failure. So I am building a coalition to craft a statewide initiative that brings solutions to our homeless crisis directly to California voters. It's time to get real about these problems. It's not acceptable to condone living outdoors in urban areas. It's not humane to let people with severe mental illness wander our streets. It's not responsible to turn a blind eye to drug abuse. It's time to clean up the unsafe homeless encampments that symbolize California's failure to act. And to anyone who says it's not compassionate to move a person off the street, ladies and gentlemen, I say it's not compassionate to let a person die on it. Okay, how's everybody doing? How about the Aztecs? I know what some of you are thinking. Isn't this supposed to be a farewell speech? You expected me to stand up here, rattle off some highlights, speak a little Spanish, declare the state of the city is strong, which it is, and then walk out of here to a Van Halen song. I agree, that sounds pretty cool too. But the rest, I'm not going to do that. At least not yet. Because this will be a year of action. As far as I'm concerned, we're in the fourth quarter. There is work to do, and we're not slowing down. And if I ever do feel like taking a break, I'll think of my friend Betty. Betty is a proud San Diegan who is 99 years young. She turns 100 next month, and she is watching us from home right now. Please give it up for Betty Morse. Hello, Betty. Betty and I met one evening when she heard some commotion outside her home. It was the day of the Ocean Beach Holiday Parade, and she came outside to see who on earth was making such a racket. It was me. Sorry again, Betty. But my team and I were having way too much fun getting ready for the parade. But she wasn't mad. She ended up bringing us snacks. Turns out Betty is the sweetest person you will ever meet. We developed a friendship, and Betty has joined us at the parade every year since. About a year ago, Betty got a call from her landlord. She was being forced out of her apartment. Her heart sank. She's on a fixed income in a modest one-bedroom. She looked around and couldn't find another place she could afford. Everything was just too expensive. The media, somehow, got wind of Betty's story. And wouldn't you know it, the landlord suddenly had a change of heart. Unfortunately, far too many San Diegans confront the same challenges as Betty each and every day. Behind the housing crisis are people in crisis. We are in this predicament because for far too long we have been caught up in a false debate: housing versus communities. We are conditioned to believe that communities that get more homes lose, and communities that stay the same win. Well, people who need housing, people like Betty, don't care about that debate. They are our community. And I'm proud that when it comes to housing, San Diego is leading California by saying yes in my backyard. And together with my colleagues on the City Council, we passed sweeping reforms last year that removed government barriers to new homes, eliminated expensive parking mandates, sped up approval for homeless housing, and even let churches build units on their property. Hashtag yes in my God's backyard for all my pastors out there. I'm also proud that we have directed billions of dollars to neighborhood infrastructure with a focus on making us one San Diego where every community is thriving. Through upgrades like 14 new and improved fire stations, more than 50 new and improved parks, and over 1,500 miles of road repaired by the end of this year. But until now, we've been treating neighborhood improvements and home building like they are two separate things, when in reality, they should be a part of the same conversation. We need to bring the ideas of housing and community together in a way that's never been done before. And that's exactly the vision I will deliver to the City Council this spring with Complete Communities, San Diego's first comprehensive program to build out the 4 pillars of a neighborhood: infrastructure, parks, transportation, and homes. Everything we need for a complete community. We are going to simplify fees and modernize how we fund community improvements so we can deliver infrastructure now, not 30 years from now. We are going to make sure that every San Diego family is just a few blocks away from a pocket park or plaza, and prioritize these investments in communities that need it the most. We're going to connect our communities with a convenient mobility network of sidewalks, bike lanes, and transit, helping us reduce traffic and achieve our climate action plan goals. And finally, we are going to incentivize developers to fund these improvements and build more of the housing we want near major transit stops and job centers. More affordable units for low-income residents. More affordable housing for homeless individuals. And smaller, less expensive homes that San Diegans have been clamoring for. Homes that people like Betty can afford. Infrastructure, parks, transportation, and homes built sustainably, equitably, and quickly. This is how we move past that tired debate and build our better future. Together, let's turn our One San Diego pledge into official city policy. Let's make sure the more homes we build, the better our neighborhoods get. Let's rethink everything so yes in my backyard also means yes to more parks, more sidewalks, and more of the things our neighborhoods need. Let's say yes to housing and yes to complete communities. And speaking of the complete package, on March 3rd, San Diegans will have the chance to approve Measure C and say yes for a better San Diego. This initiative to reduce homelessness, fix streets, and modernize and expand the convention center is the most important measure on the ballot. A broad coalition of San Diegans from the left, the right, and center came to put it before voters. And I urge you to vote yes. Not just because it's the right thing for San Diego, but because there is no good reason to vote no. If you think the city is doing a wonderful job on road repair and you want us to keep it up, vote yes. If you don't think the city is doing a wonderful job on road repair and you want us to go faster, vote yes. If you want to see me continue taking bold action on homelessness, vote yes. And if you want to see the next mayor continue taking bold action on homelessness, vote yes. If you recognize the convention center supports tens of thousands of local jobs, vote yes. And if you can't believe this is the 10th state of the city when a mayor talks about the convention center expansion, you can make it the last by voting yes on Measure C. This is going to be no easy lift. And I know San Diegans are going to make the right choice. Just think of all the times that we've stood up and said yes, where others have said no. And together did things people said couldn't be done in San Diego. Experts doubted that we could ever escape the shadow of pension scandal and potential bankruptcy. Now our budgets are structurally balanced, reserves are growing, and credit ratings healthy. People never expected we would modernize local government. Now you can get a permit, report a pothole, or track city spending all from your phone. They said we shouldn't focus on expanding learning opportunities. Instead, we tutored thousands of children and kept neighborhood libraries open longer than ever. Few thought it was possible to rebuild the San Diego Police Department's dwindling ranks. Now seasoned officers are returning, and we just welcomed the largest police academy in 25 years. Who would believe we would ever link transit to San Diego International Airport? And now we have struck a deal with the United States Navy on a transportation hub to finally connect the trolley to the airport. It seemed like we would never get Washington and Mexico City to acknowledge the sewage flowing from the Tijuana River Valley. And now, after years of making calls, casting votes, and walking the halls of both capitals, we are on the verge of securing hundreds of millions in federal dollars to clean it up once and for all. Sometimes government makes the easy things look hard. But I'd like to think that over the past few years, we've made some of the hard things look just a little easier. We'll be the only big city in America to repair half of our entire street network. We're passing some of the most aggressive housing reforms in California. We brought Democrats and Republicans together to approve a bipartisan climate action plan. We slashed greenhouse gases by nearly a quarter. We were the nation's first big city to move towards 100% renewable power. And San Diego is now the largest city in America to buck the status quo and switch to community choice energy. The day I took my oath of office, I vowed to you that San Diego would write its comeback story. Together we have written it. San Diego is back. It's recovered, reformed, and revitalized. And now San Diego is leading housing, homelessness, climate action, government efficiency, fiscal reform. Our efforts are winning national awards, and now other cities are looking at us no longer as a cautionary tale, but as a city that is solving difficult issues people confront every day. When we set aside political partisanship and lead with pride, there is nothing we can't do. It takes collaboration, cooperation, and decisive action to find real solutions to real problems, to get real results, to help people like Brian and Betty and countless others. You know, mayors will often get the credit, but nothing gets done without a dedicated team of individuals who go out and make it happen. So I've asked a few of them to join me on stage tonight. Good job, guys. Looking good. Looking good, guys. We, all of us together, we are a city of hope, of innovation, of opportunity. And it's because our city employees and our community partners who are up here work each day and night to make San Diego a better place. These are some of the public servants who protect our beaches, fight our fires, pave our streets, care for the homeless, serve our residents, and keep our community safe. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the people that get it done for San Diego. Together, we have restored integrity to City Hall, respect to our neighborhoods, and dignity to San Diego. And we are not done. 2020 is going to be another year of action. We are going to embrace complete communities. We are going to say yes to housing solutions and road repairs and jobs. We are going to tackle our region's mental health crisis and fight to keep our neighborhoods safe. We are going to finish strong, and there is no better time to start than right now. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mayor Faulconer, for sharing your vision and plans for San Diego this year. I look forward to continue to work with you and the members of the City Council on many important issues facing our city. Thank you for joining us for the 2020 State of the City Address. You're all invited to attend the city reception at the U.S. Grant. It is open to all members of the public. Tonight's meeting of the San Diego City Council is now adjourned until the next regularly scheduled meeting of the City Council to be held on Monday, January 27, 2020. This brings our evening to a close. Good evening.